Bud Light. You know, that beer you don't drink because it tastes like shit.
I came very close to spitting out beer.
Or because they printed a one-off can featuring transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney.
So you really gotta hope that Bud Light fails over this.
The can and accompanying social media post has led to all sorts of calm and rational debate.
Fuck Bud Light. Fuck Anheuser-Busch.
And even created a few new businesses.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's Ultra Right 100% woke-free beer.
Yeah, that's actually real. I had to look it up too. But given all the uproar, many have been calling to boycott Bud Light and switch to drinking Coors or Miller Lite instead. But switching to Coors, Miller, or almost any other mainstream beer for that matter, isn't really doing much at all to protest the LGBT community or Bud Light. And on top of that, the boycott is pretty much destined to fail. So let's take a look at why. Bud Light sales are down an estimated 26% in April of 2023 alone. And both Coors and Miller, whom are part of the same company, saw an increase of around 18% in the same time period. But what many of the Bud Light boycotters don't know is just how involved both Coors and Miller have been in the LGBT community for years. Matter of fact, Coors actually got so involved in its support for the LGBT community due to a boycott that started in the late 1960s and to a lesser extent still continues to this day. Miller and Coors for decades have been sponsoring pride parades around the country, donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to LGBT charity organizations, and even started a program called Open and Proud, where they host discussions with LGBT community members and bar owners to create more inclusive spaces. For reasons probably pretty easy to figure out, Coors and Miller have both been suspiciously silent on social media over the past month, enjoying increased sales without throwing their names into the controversy. So in reality, switching to Miller or Coors to protest the sponsorship of a transgender influencer isn't really proving much of a point, as many were quick to point out after this tweet from America's sweetheart Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Coors and Miller are out, but surely boycotters can switch to drinking Modelo, America's second most popular beer, or Michelob Ultra, maybe Busch, Corona if they're absolutely desperate natural light. But that doesn't work either. See, AB InBev, Budweiser's parent company, happens to own rights to every single one of those beers, in addition to near every other major national or international beer you've basically seen for sale in the US. So by purchasing these other beers, you're essentially just giving AB InBev money to spend on trying to market Bud Light back to you, which admittedly hasn't gone particularly well so far.
Bud Light getting called out for turning off YouTube comments for its new commercial featuring friends enjoying beer at a country music concert.
Yeah, the ad caused all sorts of new uproar, but here's the thing, none of this will likely last. Historically, food and drink boycotts seldom ever have any real impact on brands at all. You've probably already forgotten about the politically charged scandals around Goya, M&M's, Oreos, or Coca-Cola, all of which happened in the past few years, and none of which had any impact on the company's bottom lines. And there's a reason for this. In a time of short attention spans from social media and 24-hour mostly opinion-based news channels,
I like Diet Coke. I wouldn't care if Hitler was on the can.
one story tends to get latched onto and talked about nonstop for about a month until we all grow bored of hearing about it, and then a new divisive story is picked up and blitzed out all over TV and social media. And at that point, it's pretty much business as usual for whatever company was the subject of the last outrage. So basically, Bud Light, whose sales have been down year over year before this scandal began, tried to make ends with young people to increase sales, caused a boycott and mass exodus of their consumers, but are likely aware with their massive marketing budget and the brevity of the news cycle, they aren't in for any major lasting issue. I mean, even Coors themselves doesn't expect any lasting increase in revenue, despite what certain media outlets want you to believe. So take from this what you will, but I'm curious to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts around this whole controversy? If you think the boycott will break the typical cycle and actually have a lasting impact, or if you think companies should get involved in social issues at all. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you can keep it more civil than Kid Rock in the comments section. Never thought I would have to say that.